Hello everyone. Apologies. It would be great if I clicked the unmute button. Apologies for that slightly delayed start. So luckily it was at the beginning of this broadcast, so we haven't really lost an awful lot. We've just gone over to Forex Factory, which is our news platform. So if we scroll down, what we can see is we've had actually the ECB monetary policy meeting accounts today at 12:30, and we'll have a look exactly at the euro dollar now very shortly. So it's released 8 times per year, and it's basically off the back of the decisions that have been made with regards to the monetary policy from the ECB. So it is something that traders take a really strong view on, and they are very interested to get the finer detail, let's say. We'll have a look and see the impact of that. Just take note of the time. It's 12:30 p.m. And this is London time that we're talking about. And we've already had the news release, the inflationary based news data out impacting the US dollar, and just a marginal decrease in the actual forecast. So it's forecast 0.2. So 1 basis point difference is coming at 0.1. Now these are monthly figures, and the core CPI figure came in exactly as forecast, but there was a marginally better improvement on the unemployment claims of 226,000. So that came in at 214. So we'll have a look and see the impact that has had, and in fact where we'll actually start is the euro dollar. So as you can see, for the rest of the afternoon, not an awful lot of important news events. Okay, so let's get up our charting platform then, and we'll see what opportunities lie ahead. So this is the current price action here on a daily time frame in the euro dollar. So so what I'd like to do straight away is to just look at the last hour, and what we've seen and experienced is this is a 15-minute time frame, and I'm just taking note of the first news event which came in as a result of the ECB minutes. So it had a negative impact on the euro, and then we actually got some news event, inflation, the inflation data out of the US, and we actually saw the US some kind of devalue. So really, when we zoom out and we see what's going on here, what we can extract straight away is the market is very much in a little bit of a range bound pattern. So I just want to change the color to this, just so that it represents more of an intraday level. And to the downside, which we did get a nice strong flush to the downside, but we're looking at these kinds of levels, and we can see that there is a level that we looked at this morning, which was the 1664. So for those of you that get our trading signals during the day, we haven't really seen the follow through that we would have liked, but it would have been a small potential gain in that trade if you apply our approach in a very consistent manner. However, what we've actually experienced as a result of the news event, and it's really because of those 2 news events, is the major reason why we wouldn't actually be actively trading during this flush to the downside. We'd wait for the pullback, and the pullback really extended quite considerably back up to 1688. This is why we like working with these levels of support and resistance. And now we're just simply in this holding pattern as things currently stand. So it is still a market we are going to look at, so we will keep a close eye on this. So looking through the rest of the markets, we'll see what opportunities may exist. We would like the opportunity to sell the pound dollar, so we're really going with that dollar strength that we've experienced yesterday. We were talking about looking to buy the dollar yen, buy the dollar CAD, selling New Zealand dollar, and selling the gold market. So if you look at yesterday's price action across all those markets, you'll see some really significant moves and a number of very good profitable trades for us, and certainly our traders here at the Live Trade Room. So so a really good profitable day today. Now we are still in favor of dollar strength as an overall sort of directional bias. So we're just trying to work out which would be the better trades to focus on. And this morning as well, we made the in our Trade Watch video, which we release every morning, we looked at a breakout above the 112.17 level. So now we're getting the breakout up to 112.66, and now we're currently experiencing a little bit of a pullback. But what we're seeing is a nice explosive move to the upside. So we actually want to go with the momentum rather than going against it. So we'll definitely look for an opportunity. We're getting a nice pullback on this, which could give us an opportunity to buy this market from a slightly lower price. So that is the Euro Yen. Moving on to the Euro CAD, we've identified the 32.14 level in the dollar CAD for this market to actually break above that. Now we've literally peaked above it, but we've not broken above it. So we're not actually still, I suppose we are now sort of the best part of 40-45 pips away from that. So maybe as a result, we can focus a little bit more on the Euro dollar and the dollar yen. The dollar CAD, we shall certainly monitor externally, but maybe tomorrow might give us some opportunities on some of these. Now we are getting the strong move, which we've been talking about in the dollar Swiss. The only problem is we're currently at what's called parity, which is the 100 level. And what I'm going to do is change this to a completely different color. It's our gold color, let's say, dark orange. Let's change it to a really sort of strong bright orange, and let's give it the credence that it deserves. What I should have done is just change the number behind the figure. So 1, 2, 3. So that is parity, and yes, we are above that. So we are likely to see this market continue higher, except we do have these levels back up at this price point, and I'm just going to convert this back to our normal intraday levels. So there is our intraday level for this market to push towards the 1.0052 level. So we do anticipate this market to squeeze higher, but we also anticipate the euro dollar to squeeze lower. So it might be a case of either or. So for that reason, we will identify it as a viable opportunity. But as you can see, we've only recently broken above that level. Looking at the Aussie dollar, we still anticipate this market to squeeze lower. Some of the levels we look at would be these. We saw a really strong pullback to approximately the 76.57, and that gave us an opportunity to basically look to sell this market beneath the low. And yesterday we got that move. Now the trade that we actually did actively trade, because it was neither or. It was either sell the Aussie dollar or sell the New Zealand dollar, and we chose to sell the New Zealand dollar just below the same kind of setup, just because the setup was a little bit cleaner. Really, that's the only major reason. So we are looking at these prices at these lower levels, and we expect this market to continue lower, although of course today we do have a little bit of bullish price action coming in to the New Zealand dollar. So so moving over to the euro pound, what I can do very easily is do a very simple piece of analysis really with this market and see how this market has been performing over a prolonged period of time. What we basically have in this market, I'm just going to change the color. The purple color is very much represents more of an intraday level, and the blue color represents a really strong support and resistance. So over multiple time frames. So that's really quite important for us when we trade as well. So we're getting the bounce which we expected off the 88.81, and this price is ever so slowly squeezing lower, but we also have these levels sitting in here, so we kind of want this market to break this to the downside, and that might give us a short-term opportunity to see the pound strengthen against the euro. But perhaps nothing is that appropriate for us right now. We liked the breakout in the euro yen this morning, but we also liked even better the breakout in the pound yen. So this was the trade call this morning, which is the 148.13 level. And we've had a really strong explosive move. Now we're currently experiencing a pullback, so for that reason we shall look at seeing if we can capitalize now on a bit of a pullback trade in the dollar yen. And just looking at a couple of commodities, looking at the gold market, we're seeing a double bottom effectively, a little bit of reversal back off the 1237 level, just these floors. But today's pullback doesn't necessarily mean that this market is no longer going to move to the downside. We still anticipate it to continue lower, like we have been trading this quite a lot over the last few weeks, and we will continue to do so unless we actually have significant reasons for us not to. So that is the dividing line. So we need to stack the odds in our favor in order to get our market conditions correct, also to get our directional bias right, and then we look to stack the odds in our favor. So what we're really doing is working with support and resistance and our understanding of Japanese candlesticks to navigate these markets. And as you can see, there's a clarity behind our trading pictures. Even those of you that are perhaps new and inexperienced to trading, hopefully what we try to do is to explain quite clearly what the approach is based on technical analysis and a very comprehensive understanding of that. Yes, we could add a vast number of indicators to the screen. What it's likely to do is just complicate things a little bit, maybe confuse you quite a lot. So what we want to do is master the process of technical analysis, and what we're trying to do is to give you a nice strong platform in which to learn how to trade these markets. Okay, so that is the gold market. And just finally on the crude oil, we've had a really strong sell-off yesterday in crude oil. So again, just from a technical perspective, what we can do is we can see and understand that this market has been clearly in a bull trend since June of last year. So over a year now, we've been in this kind of bull trend, and it continues. So we've always maintained that we would like to buy it from the lower band and sell it from the upper band. With all the news events around the more recent price action here, as you can see, is that this market is rolling over to the downside. So yes, yesterday there was opportunities to sell this market, and it was largely as a result of the crude oil inventories figure, which was the largest negative figure for I think 3 or 4 years, if I remember rightly. So yesterday we did look at the stats, but for a really significant period of time. Ordinarily, that would suggest that the price of crude oil will move to the upside. So it was a slightly contradicting piece of price action. So, but now what price is doing now, it's coming back to the $70 level, which is kind of roughly the area that we'd like to buy this market from. So even if it squeezed a little bit lower, it would actually be marginally better for us just to get in at these lower prices and see if we take the crude oil to the upside for as long as that opportunity exists. So so if we go back through the markets then that we've kind of reviewed and looked at, and we've looked at the news as well, what we can certainly do is look at the pound yen. So we'll look at this on the top left hand corner of your screen, just so that we can keep an eye on it at all times and identify those opportunities when they arise. And we then of course will look at the dollar Swiss. So you can see that that's really extending to the upside now. So we're getting some dollar strength come into this market. Now we also want to have a look at, as far as the price action is concerned for today, is the dollar yen. And finally, we shall look at the euro dollar, which is top left hand corner. Okay, whoops, pardon that. So let me get these trades sorted out for you so you can see very clearly what we're looking to do. I'm just conscious of this pullback here, and certainly the dollar seems to be strengthening. It's not strengthening that much against the euro, but we are seeing certainly the dollar strengthen against the Swiss and the dollar yen as things currently stand. So one thing I'm going to do just initially is to put in a level of intraday or potential resistance, and I'll explain to you why we do that shortly. So we need this market to break above that level to show us that we are in a trade that is looking to continue to the upside. So for example, if we don't break the 112.60, what we can do as traders is apply a little bit of patience, because the price action over the last hour and a half is not fantastic from a clear-cut opportunity perspective. So we just want to exercise a little bit of caution. And now we are up to the 0022 level in the dollar Swiss. We'll have a look at a bit more detail at the pound yen. So just conducting a little bit more analysis on this market. So we have a clearly defined high, and we have this low sitting in here. So we want to see, do we get a breakout above the 148.88, or do we get a little bit of a reversal around the 148.60 level? So got a couple of options to obviously choose from there. A structural failure might give you an opportunity to sell the pound yen, and a breakout might give you an opportunity to buy it, or even the pullback. So so what we're looking to do, we can see these markets, we want to go with these markets, so we're looking for an opportunity to buy the dollar Swiss. So in terms of a trade call or a trade idea, if I just get up my pen, do bear with me ever so briefly. So what we're looking to do is to potentially buy above the 148.80 level. That would give us a good opportunity to take this market to the upside. What we'd have to do is literally try to wait for this market to come back, and if it came back to parity or somewhere in and around that level, we would look to sell it from a slightly lower price to where we currently are. So this market does have to make an effort to pull back, and buying this market in and around parity would be fantastic for us. In line with the continuing weakness which we're experiencing in the yen, we'd look to buy the dollar yen. And look to buy above the 112.60. So as you can see, we have really concise prices that we're looking to enter these markets. Obviously the decision then to enter these markets is very much down to yourself. These are the levels that we're looking to trade in and around, and for the euro dollar, we're looking to go in line with the prevailing winds, or moving with the market. We're looking to sell potentially below the 16.64 level. So let's see if we get those opportunities. We're setting up our trade plan for the day, and we're then going to wait as patiently. We're going to be as patiently as we can. We know exactly what we want to trade. We know why we want to trade them. We know where we're going to get in, and we obviously have a very consistent approach as well to not just risk management, but also to potential profit targets. So we'll explain those obviously if we do get into to a trade this afternoon. And yesterday was such a strong, explosive day. It was a very profitable day for us. We achieved over the 100 pip mark yesterday in the 4 trades that we've been identifying since yesterday morning. So yesterday was a pretty good day for us, and we're looking for more opportunities again today. Okay, so we'll see if those opportunities do come around. So James, good to have you on board. Yeah, I appreciate we started the webinar with the mute button pressed, so apologies for that. So James, you just asked the question, how many trades do we make in a day? The answer is to that. I mean, yesterday, for example, we took trades in 4 different markets, and we took 7 trades in total. So so a really good, strong day. What we're seeing now is a breakout above the with the pound yen. We're seeing the pound really strengthen against the yen. So what I'm going to do is go into the smaller term time frame. We currently and I want to look at this on a bigger time frame as well, just to see where we're coming from. So really we want to be looking for multiple opportunities to take this market to the upside. So we just want to see on a minute time frame, we do want to see, and from a consistency perspective, we are saying we are looking to buy this market above 148.88, but we need to see the confirmation that we ordinarily look for. So, and that confirmation would include a close above 148.88. So let's see if we get that confirmation. So we'll just wait for the close of this particular candlestick and see if it's a tradable opportunity, or does it actually become what we call a double top. So that's what we're concerned about. We're concerned that this market could reverse from these levels and extend lower. And in fact, if we zoom in now, because we've applied a very patient approach, we've not necessarily jumped in, we wanted to wait for the close, and if we get a close, it gives us a little bit of a mini green light to take this market to the upside. And as you can see, this market is just coming back now off the 148.88 levels. So let's see if it pulls back a little bit and we get a bit of a turnaround and we start attacking this level again. So for now, it just puts a little question mark over the immediate move to the upside in the pound yen. And as you can see, this price is just pulling over to the downside. So we are seeing this price continue to roll over, as you can see. So what we'll do is we'll continue to monitor it. We'll keep an eye on this level. We'll see if we get a close, and if so, we can still trade it. So looking across the other potential pairs. So what I'll do now is, these are the trades we're looking to take. We're looking to sell the euro dollar below the 16.64. We're looking to buy the dollar yen above the 112.60 level. We're looking to buy the pound yen above the 148.88, and we're going to try and be nice and patient in the dollar Swiss, wait for the pullback, and then look to take this market to the upside. So as a result, I'll take those off, and we'll monitor these very, very carefully indeed. So what we can do in the interim is to just take a very quick scan at a few other markets. So we're seeing a strong pullback really against the dollar, the pound dollar, should I say. The dollar CAD is extending lower. So we're getting a bit of a pullback in today's price action across many of these markets. The New Zealand dollar just strengthening now, bouncing off those lows. The New Zealand dollar, same situation, hasn't really moved an awful lot all day. It's kind of been like this since certainly pre the the European Open. The euro pound strengthening ever so slightly, but we really want to see this market below the 8800 level for us to actively look to get into this market. So the euro yen doing really well, really pushing up to these highs. This is a potential level of resistance for us, the 133.43 level. So we do want to keep that in mind, but the market we're going to look to trade is, and it looks like we're going to get, so now we've got this close above this level. What I'm going to do, and we also have a little bit of a structure now to actually place our stop loss. So now we want to see if we get continuation to the upside. If so, we're quite happy to get in. So when it comes to trade size, if you're using one-click trading, obviously the trade size, the smallest trade size is 0.01. We do have here at the Live Trade Room, we do have a wealth of content available for you on risk management and how to calculate trade size properly, which is something that most traders are really struggling to do. So if you are new to trading, do feel free to make sure you're trading at the smaller size. It'll allow you to get in and out of these markets without oversizing. So we're looking to place a pretty small stop loss now in this market, but as you can see, we're kind of struggling to break above the 148.89 level, which we, looking at the candle from 3 minutes ago, we would have expected this market to actually, you know, really continue higher. So the pound yen, just struggling to break above this level. What I'm going to do is to put just a level in here at the structure, because if we get a break below the 148.83, what that means to us is that we get on a 1 minute time frame, we get a bit of a structural failure. So that would put a major question mark on buying this trade around these prices. Maybe if we get a strong pullback, we might be able to buy these markets at a much lower price. And I'm just going to try and establish what that level could be. Could be opportunities to get in around the 148.80 level. So we could pull back, which wouldn't be a significant amount of pullback, but it would just tie in with these highs. Probably the more important level is probably just 10 pips below the 148.72. So there's a couple of intraday levels in here for us to be aware of, and we'll see how that will influence our decision making. So, all right, so we'll keep a strong eye on the pound yen. We do want to experience a slightly better pullback than what we're currently seeing. The pound, the dollar yen, and the euro dollar as well. Okay. So now, the reality of trading these financial markets is, in fact, one of the pillars that we think traders need to develop, and it's certainly a skill and something that does need a bit of practice, is patience. You know, what we want to do is to trade high probability trading opportunities, and of course, sometimes you're going to have to be nice and patient to really wait for those really strong opportunities to arrive. And on occasion, they don't arrive at all. Now, yesterday, we had a really strong day yesterday. All of the trades that we were looking to take all moved in the latter part of the afternoon session to the upside and continued to move for the remainder of the US session. So a few really strong trades yesterday. For those of you that were able to capitalize on those, very, very well done. So what we shall do is, you can see what's happening over here on the pound yen. You can see that there's this structural failure forming. So now we want to see if the 148.83 is going to hold. And at the moment, it's not looking like that's going to happen. So now we've technically got what's called a structural failure to the downside. Okay, so we've got the close below. So now we want to see, we're in the pullback phase, so that's fine. We allow the pullback to occur, and ideally we'd like it to come back to the 148.72. So because of our approach and the consistency behind the way we trade, you can see that we were prevented from getting into a trade because we trade structure and we trade price action, and we're technical analysts. So although we know we're looking for opportunities to buy, the breakout trade didn't develop, so therefore we can keep our capital as it currently is and wait for this market to pull back. And this is the this is kind of the mental dexterity that a trader needs to develop as well, that ability to say, right, well, if the conditions are met, I trade that market. If the conditions are not quite right, maybe if in doubt, stay out. And that's something that we're constant advocates of. If in doubt, stay out. Okay, so really we want to stack the odds in our favor when we trade, and for that requires a little bit of patience. But look, if we look at this market now, we're getting a nice strong pullback. So we've identified this level, and let's see on a minute time frame if we get some rejections around the 148.73, we might actually look to buy this market at a lower price, and a much lower price as well. So it does look intent on strengthening quite considerably. But these markets can sell off quite quickly, and they can move to the upside pretty quickly. So this isn't unusual, certainly for a market like the pound yen. So if clearly the 148.72 hasn't stacked up, and we're getting this market bounce back to the 148.60 level. And then let's see where this bit of a move naturally formulates and looks to turn around. So it could be kind of in line with this level in here, or will it continue lower? Now from this point, I mean, if we get a bit of a bullish bit of price action coming into the market around this level, and we get a bit of consolidation and a couple of rejections to push lower, then it might give us the great opportunity to get in at these lower levels. So we'll keep a close eye on those. So not an awful lot happening really in the euro dollar for the session. The dollar yen is attempting to push higher, but as you can see, we're seeing a bit of yen strength come in to the pound yen. So maybe that's the reason why the dollar yen has been held up. Plus the dollar is in a bit of a strange position as things currently stand, because it's strengthening against some markets like the yen, and it's weakening against the pound and the euro and the Aussie and the New Zealand, even marginally. And of course it's strengthening against the Swiss. So really what that means is there's a hierarchy of opportunity. The euro, the pound, the Aussie and the New Zealand are slightly stronger. Then it seems like we have the dollar, and then we have the yen and the Swiss and the CAD all falling into line, and weakening against the US dollar, which isn't that strong against the other majors. So that's how we look at these markets. We're getting the pound yen, roll over quite sharply. So now we're looking for this market to come back to the 148.60 level, and if we get an opportunity to buy at this lower level, then we get a 30 pip move potentially to the upside. And what we often find with trades like the pound yen is that we can get a nice small entry, just placing our stop loss perhaps below the 148.60 level. So we might get a nice small entry, and the potential to the upside could be a significant one. So the other markets are not really giving us the opportunity as we would like to trade it. So we do have the chat function open, guys, as well. So if you'd like to post any questions for us, if there's anything that I've covered or anything that I've said or mentioned that you want to ask a question about, then don't hesitate. If there's other markets you'd like us to look at for you, to give you our opinion, then that's of course fine as well. So just use your chat function on the right of your screen, and that will come through to us, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. Okay. So watching the pound yen very, very closely. We do want this market to just push back a little bit further if we possibly can. We're only 5 pips away now, so we shall wait and see on that one. Okay, let's see what opportunities this market will give us today. It's looking like we're going to have to be nice and patient, maybe. Right, this could give us a really nice opportunity. Let's have a look at this on a 15-minute time frame. Let's zoom in a little bit. There's definitely so there's a bit of support coming into this market. So these are very much minor support levels. So I might take away just a couple of these. So these are support levels that were significant on much smaller time frames, and now we look at the bigger time frames. You can see how insignificant they are. So it's no surprise to have the 148.50 level just sitting at these levels here, and we're only 10 pips above it. So look, we're getting a bit of exhaustion to the downside after a really strong downward moving candlestick in the pound yen. So we'll see potentially if the move to the upside has finished or not, and that's another potential opportunity for us. Even if we still have the potential really with these prices to even get into a short, just even a short move to the upside, we could get a good 2 or 3 to 1 positive risk reward when we trade, just taking a trade in the pound yen. So these are the rejections we're talking about, and this is what we want to see if we're going to get a little bit of a pulse to the upside. As you can see, nothing really happening for the time being in the pound dollar, dollar yen, and the dollar Swiss. So we've got a bit of indecision. So we've got a nice strong flush to the downside, bit of indecision, really strong bullish candlestick. So now let's see if we get continuation to the upside. If that's the case, let's get in and buy that market there. Okay, so the beauty about getting in at the 148.68 level is that we've got a fairly small stop loss. And that stop loss for us would just be below the 60 level. So that's our trade. So let's see if we get that move now or not. So we've got a 10 pip stop loss. We're getting in at the 68 level. So let's see from a price action perspective if we get these prices pushing up. So we'd be happy to take a 1.5 times our risk reward in this trade, and that's largely dictated by the technicals and the opportunity. So it still represents an opportunity for this market to squeeze higher. We have our entry price, we have our stop loss, which is nice, clean, easy to identify, and hopefully you can see the reasons why we take a trade like this, and we also have our exit strategy laid out as well. So that's the pound yen. We are waiting for opportunities in the dollar Swiss, the dollar yen, and also the euro dollar, except nothing is developing right now. So what we're going to do, we've executed that trade. And we'll see how we get on now with the pound yen. So that's the first trade that we've been able to get into for the afternoon session. I am conscious we've had a strong move today already, so if we get a break below the 148.60 level, then it's actually a pretty significant structural failure across the market today. So maybe that will end our interest in being able to buy the pound yen. But either way, we've managed our risk very, very appropriately. We know exactly what we're looking to achieve from the trade, which again is something that a lot of traders really struggle with. So acting and behaving, very consistent in your approach and being disciplined with your own capital, and not just throwing away trades. We could have easily got in and out of a lot of these trades. You might win some, you might lose some. It's a very precarious position to be in when you're trading. So have a trade plan. That's what we practice, and you'll see the level of consistency with us here at the Live Trade Room. Now, if there's anything that we've covered, perhaps that you need some clarity on, then what we suggest you do is go to our website, www.TheLiveTradeRoom.com. There is lots of information on there in terms of all of the products and services that we offer, and we've got extensive products and services all there available for you. And there is currently a 14-day free trial, so you can actually sample all of our live trade rooms, for example, completely free of charge for 2 weeks. And then if you want to stay with us, then the price point is incredibly low. So what we're doing is building the world's largest group of profitable traders. So those that are serious about trading these markets, come over to our website, do have a look, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side. So actually we've got another live trade room now with all of our traders. So if you do want to come and join us for the remainder of the US session and start your free trial today, then go to our website. You'll see the link below. So click on the link, sign up for that free trial, and we'll see you on the inside. So that just about concludes today's Trading the Markets Live. So just before I let you go, feel free to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn. The details are of course there up on screen, and very welcome to join us there. We post lots of content on a regular basis. So all that's left for me to do now is to thank you very much for joining us. We will continue to look at those markets for the remainder of the session. What we've found for the last few, I'd say the last 6 weeks, is that a lot of the moves have occurred post sort of 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you find these markets just ebb and flow. They go through ups and downs and peaks and troughs, and you identify certain market conditions. So if we do get moves over the next hour or two, then we'll be looking to capitalize on those, obviously through the live trade room. So if you like what you see, please do come and join us. It could be the best trading decision you've ever made. So hopefully we'll see you on the inside. So from everyone here, do take care, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.